This is Jenn Snyder Gibson, and we're coming to you live from the Brand Builder Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina with the Breakfast Club Beat. All right, I do not think there is anyone in Charlotte that is not familiar with 24 Hours of Booty. And today we have the rock star team that has created, manages, runs, does everything for 24 hours. So this is going to be fun today, guys. I'm just going to start. We've got Catherine Murphy. We've got Spencer Lourdes. We've got Josh Jones. And Spencer, the original OG creator, founder. Let it roll, Spencer. How did you come up with this amazing concept?
I may not have told you this story. You may not know it yourself, like the origin story of 24 and how it started. But it was truly grassroots. I just had this idea. And we can go way, way far back when I was a kid, that kind of my mindset of like even being in a position to want to try something like this. But I found myself riding on the Booty Loop, which was named the Booty Loop before I lived in Charlotte. So it's been there. But I was riding on the Booty Loop one day, wanting to make an impact in the cancer community, and it popped in my head on Queens West. I'm like, I don't think anybody's ridden this for 24 hours, and that would be epic. And I have this thing that happened when I was 5 years old, where my dad said something to me that made me be curious. And I've never forgotten it. And so...
What did he say?
So, okay, well, I'll tell you.
Yes,
I'll
totally.
All the way back.
I mean, you can't just tease us with Dad.
All right, so I talk about this sometimes when I'm my mindset and building what I call this whole thing with 24 Foundation my accidental legacy. Like, I don't know I know how it happened, but I wasn't thinking about that at all. But, so picture the scene. I'm living in Texas. I'm 5 years old, and I'm walking in this field behind my house that had been clear cut for a shopping center to be put in there, right? So it's just dirt, and we're walking through the dirt and throwing rocks and stuff. And I look over and I see a weeping willow tree branch in the dirt, just laying in the field. There's no trees around, but this a weeping willow tree branch just on the ground there, and it's green leaves and everything. So I look over at my dad and I say, "Hey, Dad, if we stuck this branch in the ground, do you think it would grow into a tree?" And my dad looks down at me and says, "Spencer, it's so crazy, it just might work." That's exactly what we said. It's so crazy, it just might work. So we go down back to the house and we stick that thing in the ground just to see what would happen. So it eventually turned into a giant tree. Oh. So, and I watched, being curious, sticking that in the ground to see what would happen, was sort of like the initial thing that spun me into this, like, be curious, try things, see what will happen. And I watched that tree grow up in front of me. So I know things can work like that. So over my life, I've done that a lot. And also I've discovered that I like doing hard things. So you find myself on the Booty Loop, coming up Queens West, going up East Boulevard at that intersection, thinking about what my dad told me when I was 5 years old, and thinking about that tree. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I can do it. I don't have permission. I don't have a permit. I don't know if I can make it. I had to borrow a bike. But I was going to try to see what would happen. So.
And had you always been a cyclist?
Yeah, I started
at this point?
For a long time.
Okay.
So I've been riding the bike for a long time, but I'd never tried something like this. And I didn't really train for it. I just said I want to do it as soon as possible. So, but as I look back on that first ride, it was just me, and off and on buddies would come out and ride with me, but I was doing it wrong. I was thinking about the what. I was like, what gear am I in? How much food do I have? Do I have enough water? How cold is it? All the whats. And the whole why part came to me. It was given to me during the event, primarily by cancer survivors who had heard about what I was doing and just randomly showed up. So I'm riding along, for example, could have been day or night, and someone's in a driveway of someone's house on Queens West. I ride by, they catch up to me and say, "You the guy riding for 24 hours? Yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Hey, I'm John, a cancer survivor.
Wow.
I heard what you're doing, super cool. I want to ride a lap with you. Say thank you." And so I'm awesome. Like, okay, so that happened again, midnight. This guy Chip, who lost his wife to cancer, wanted to ride with me at midnight. Someone came out 4 a.m. So by the end of it, the whole why thing had just washed over me. I'm like, oh, this is not just riding a bike. This is a platform. This is a way for hope and healing to happen.
And this was all in the first year that people were coming up to you like that?
Yeah. And so I'm in the midst of like this, young lawyer working like crazy. And I'm like, I have to figure out how to make this happen no matter what. Yeah. And so I kind of had to rejigger my life to make it happen. But I had to, one of those things like when you have that feeling, you just got to.
You just know when it grabs your soul, you have to do it.
Yeah. So that's what set it off, and very, very grassroots. And we're going to share some stuff this year of some of those early days, looking back over the last 24, how grassroots and how crazy it was.
I mean, I love the story you told me, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know. And about asking all the people just to leave their lights on at night.
Yeah.
Like, just so you could see anything at all. Like, just the front porch lights of their house. And the number of people that did, and probably gained momentum throughout the night with the different riders. And I mean, you see the number of people that put their lights out. They might not be out there riding with you, but that's obviously a sign of support of like,
absolutely.
I don't know what really this is all about, but it sounds like it's the right thing to do, and it sounds like it's supporting somebody who's trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
Josh, were you involved in year one?
No, I wasn't involved until probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, probably 12 years ago.
Wow. So why don't
So halfway there.
So why don't you share a little bit about how and why, what was your why and why you got involved?
Originally, it was because of a friend of mine that was going through cancer treatment for a brain tumor, and I am definitely not a cyclist, but he was. And at the time, I did have a bike, and we thought, okay, we're going to go out and we're going to support him in something that he loves. And he actually rode in the event a couple years before he passed away. And he rode his bike to cancer treatment when he lived in Augusta. So all of that was just, he was an inspiring person for us in our lives as we grew up. He was married to one of my best friend's older sisters, and we just all looked up to him a lot. And then a couple years later, after he passes away, my daughter gets diagnosed with cancer. And so I think originally the team started out of the need for friends to try to figure out, what to do, how to make an impact for us, how to support us. So they started Team Livestrong that year. Jordana, who is a friend of mine who helps do all the uniforms, put something together, in a pretty short amount of time. And I think maybe 15 or 20 people signed up for the team and started to ride. I actually left the hospital that night, probably around midnight. It was one of the first couple nights that Libby was in for a bone marrow transplant. And she went to sleep, and I left. My wife, Barb, stayed there. And I just rode up from the hospital to the Booty Loop, because it's probably half a mile to get there at the most. Met up with everybody, saw Spencer, got some hugs. Because when you're in that treatment, you don't see a lot of people. The exposure of a million different things is not good for you. But it was outside, and it felt like the right place to be. And then as the last 10 years have gone, it has grown and grown, and as a team, it became Drew's crew and Livestrong, with a friend of mine named Wes and his son Drew passing away. But just going through it, I think one of the things that, Spencer talking about his why, I think one of the things you don't experience when you're going through treatment or somebody that you love is you can't physically do anything, or you don't feel like you can. It's not like if you want to run faster, you go run and you work out. But when you go out on the Booty Loop, I think a lot of people use it as an opportunity to just physically exhale the emotion and the hurt and the sadness and the memories, and all of those things come out in that particular night. And it's amazing, because you ride next to people who have different stories. You ride next to people you've seen every year for the last 10 or 12 years. You ride with people you've never met before, that are just, trying to figure it out. But it's just an event that is, as a rider, you feel so supported and safe, and just the opportunity to just physically. I like to do hard things too. Probably not as hard as Spencer, but something like that feels good, because when you feel physical pain, when you're hurting, something about that takes away that emotional pain and just allows you to, you know what, my legs are going to be fine at some point. My butt is going to hurt for a week, but that's pretty temporary compared to what all these people go through when you go through cancer treatment. And it really, some of that shifts your perspective too.
Yeah. I mean, it's really been, over the years that I've had the opportunity to get to know you, it's been just incredible to see what you and all of your friends have put together with your team, and the amount of money that you guys, how much would you say the Livestrong team has raised?
It's over $1 million.
That's unbelievable.
They're the first team to hit $1 million.
Wow. So Catherine, as the executive director of 24, isn't it just so inspiring to listen to Spencer and Josh and what they have been in the fabric of 24 Foundation?
I think the accidental legacy is so true for both of you, honestly. Seeing someone who had this great idea to ride around on a bicycle for 24 hours, I mean, you're kind of crazy, but we love you for that. Yeah. And, I mean, see what's happened. And then, for the Jones family to have gone through what they went through with Libby, and to be that, visible in the cancer community, and to be honest, and to be open, and to be raw, and to come and just be with others going through the same thing is just really, really humbling. It's, cancer doesn't choose who it impacts, who it touches. I think everybody in this room has had, we've talked about cancer, and, it touches everybody.
Absolutely.
And that's, it's a really crappy common denominator that we all have, but to have something that started from this little idea that has impacted thousands of people is just, it's incredible.
Spencer, when you have quiet moments by yourself and you think about this and you think about that weeping willow, like, what are some of the, you could have never imagined this was going to be what it was 24 years later. Like, what are some of the thoughts that you think about?
Legacy is in the agency of others. So this would not happen without all the people who have dedicated hours and hours and blood, sweat, and tears, literally, to make it happen. So I'm proud that I kind of said, we need to do this again. We need to, other people need to have this experience and feel this way. And we need to make sure that happens for other people. But to have the growth, thinking through the years as I've been planning for this year of, watching the computer tick over for the first time we raised $1 million ever. And I, very distinct moment, and things that have happened throughout the years that have been so special, that have been memorable, that have just sort of been the catalyst for such great, amazing things that happen for the cancer community here in the Charlotte area. I accept when someone says, thank you so much, a survivor will say something to me. I'm like, I accept that on behalf of everybody who's here, the staff, the board, hundreds of volunteers, like literally hundreds of volunteers, and people who are caregivers, survivors that are out here, their friends and families. Like, I accept that on behalf of everybody, because it's part of, we've built this community, and that, community is what builds legacy, and we have that here. It's really, as Josh said, it's a really special experience to be out there, for sure.
So 24 years in, Catherine, how much money total has been raised so far?
We are right under the $30 million mark, which is insane.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. Did you know that, Josh?
No, I'd never heard that until just now.
I could tell by the look on your face you didn't know that number.
That's a big number. I'm not sure I would have guessed that.
It's a huge number. And
Did you know that, Spencer?
Yeah, I'm already saying we're at 30, because we're going to get
You're
there.
like,
we're going to get there.
I'm a big exaggerator, so I'm definitely saying that.
My mind's already there. But,
we're definitely there.
It impacts people directly. Like, people think two things about Booty that could stand to be sort of explained. Number one, it's not a race, and most people know that, but they call it a race whether they know or not. But it's not. Nobody's racing. It's literally just, as Josh said, people are riding. You're on and off the loop. we're all riding together. You two go in. We're going to keep running. We'll see you again. And just, this mixing of people throughout. And cancer research. So cancer research is so important. There's billions of dollars in NIH and things that are happening. But the thing that struck me when I wanted to do this the first time was, what can I do today?
Yeah.
I want to make an impact today, like immediately. What can we do? And so that has turned into supporting cancer navigation and survivorship services. And those are things that people are literally happening right now down the street. Like people are using those services right now. And those things make an immediate impact. So we raise $1 million or $2 a year. That makes a huge impact on people in this cancer community to help them get through what they need to today. And that's super gratifying. I know people are using those services and caregivers. And so those are the two things that I want to make sure people understand that. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic to share, because I do think there's people that think it's a race. So I think that is really good to share. How many people, and you might know this number or not, how many people each year are involved with this? How many participants?
We have close to 1,000 participants,
Okay.
riders and walkers. So another misconception is, oh my gosh, I have to ride a bike for 24 hours. No, you don't.
Yeah, let me chime in here, because I am not a bike rider. Yeah, I am not. I do not know how to ride a bike. I can't even fake that. So I'm very excited to walk it this year. And I was glad when how was it, 3 years ago you added the walkers?
We've had the walkers, but we're really starting to put a larger emphasis on the walkers, because not everybody rides a bike. I have a pink beach cruiser with a cup holder and no gears, and that's my bicycle. My husband has a road bike. So really, with the numbers at 24, we want to make it accessible to everybody.
Sure.
So whether you're walking or running or rucking with weight on your back or volunteering, we've try and cover all the bases. We have about 1,000 participants, over 300 volunteers. We employ more than 70 CMPD officers. We have thousands of spectators. I mean, it's a big, fun weekend.
Yeah, it's. I think it's one of the highlights in Charlotte in the summer. I think people book vacations around making sure they're in town that particular weekend.
They do.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood that we hold it in, the Myers Park neighborhood, is so wonderful and welcoming. It's, a lot of the neighbors on the loop will let people in their front yards and have parties, and they cheer people on, and it's
gained
so
a lot of momentum the last few years, and it's fun to see, because I think there's been blow up water slides that are as tall as the houses. There's
live bands.
There's 4 or 5 live bands.
Really?
Well,
we might have to get someone we know in a band next year.
It's specifically become a night that really the energy is incredible for that first night.
Well, one thing, Catherine, that I learned from you a few weeks ago that I had no idea is you have a campground.
We do.
Yeah, and people camp out for
You
this.
too can spend the night outside if you want.
Do you two camp out?
No.
No?
I go, I'm not that brave.
Yeah, I do. I like being out there. We have this midnight pizza party also that I want to say it's 1,600 pieces of pizza that go in 15 minutes.
It's
Wow.
insane.
That part's fun.
And then I want to be out there. I always like to spend some time out on the course at night, because when you take away the sky and the neighborhood and all you see is the light in front of you, it really, to me, it just helps me focus in on the whole why again.
Yeah.
And I'll pull over and I'll watch all the red lights flashing by, and every one of those is a story.
Yeah.
And it kind of just grounds me. So I do that every year. And then I just like being out there. My kids have grown up in Bootyville, which is what everybody calls it. And, and there's showers at Queens. Queens is a great partner of ours. We have a scholarship there, and they give us all access to their facilities so people can go take showers and stuff. But camping is kind of fun. People decorate their tents. They're walking around talking to each other. There's a lot going on. We're going to do some special stuff this year on Friday night in Bootyville. So there's going to be, it's a fun place to be, and people just kind of go in and out as they want.
Now, do your kids participate?
Yeah, they literally have grown up with it. My oldest was 1 year old in the first one.
Nice.
And that's kind of all they know to do in the summer. And they've all sort of grown up and dispersed a little bit. But we're all coming back this year. And
I love that.
To me, what's and this is true for a lot of people who've had kids grow up and being there is, if anything, they know philanthropy at an early age, which is, I think, really important. They see the impact of what everybody's doing together and how that is powerful when you're collectively doing things like that. So I am proud of that part, that they may not have wanted to come every year, but they know all about it and they know where the money goes and they've seen the stories, they've talked to people. And so that's going to stick
That's
with
great.
them
They're
forever.
coming back this year too.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
cool and kind of the next generation of givers. I mean, I want to
Yes.
talk about Will for a minute.
I know, that's
mean,
why I was
Yeah.
going there next. So
It's
let's
incredible.
bring Will up.
Yeah, I think to segue what you were saying is as a parent, it's hard to get that message across to your kids as to what that feels like. And Will's 12 and my daughter Layton is almost 9, but I think they don't, they know that we celebrate these days whether it's Libby's birthday, whether it's the day she passed away, and those days don't mean tons to them because Layton wasn't born and Will was pretty young. But as they get older, they have been part of the event a little bit more. And then the last year, I think, or 2 years ago, really, Will came out and he was going to just ride one lap. And then he was going to go home with his friends or whatever. And the impact that it had on him was unbelievable. And it wasn't because I was explaining it.
Yeah.
He could feel the energy. He understood the empathy and the sympathy and that other people had gone through these different stories. And I think he ended up riding like 60 miles that year and raising
Wow.
like
At 9.
$15,000.
Oh my gosh, that's
I mean,
amazing.
Let's be honest. He really wanted this pair of sunglasses.
He got those sunglasses.
Yeah, he got those
He got them.
sunglasses that year.
How much did you have to raise to get the
I
sunglasses?
think it was over 10.
It was over 10.
Yeah.
They were
he,
really nice.
He had his eye on them. But it made a huge impact. And I think
Yeah.
as parents, we can only lead them so far. And then they have those experiences that they'll come back to. And it'll make more sense. It'll probably make more sense to your kids even more after they start to have kids. The number of people that had kids and they were like, wow, I don't think I understood what you went through, having not had children and not knowing that love and all that stuff. So I think you teach them that, you give them that opportunity and you give them that exposure, and it just makes an incredible difference, and you feel really great when you see somebody, whether it's your kids or whether it's somebody that they get there, they feel the energy, and almost every time they sign up next year.
Yes.
It's just that I just need you to feel it once, and you're hooked.
I love that. I personally am really excited. This is going to be my first year that I'm actually doing the event myself, and it's the first time that Breakfast Club has put a team together. So I can't wait. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of people on our team, and it's going to be a really fun time to be with you guys.
Very cool.
It is. And I love what Josh said. Just show up and feel it for the first time. It's
Yes.
so hard
Yeah.
to describe what people are like, oh my gosh, well, what is 24 hours of booty? It's kind of one of my least favorite expressions, but favorite expressions is you just have to experience it and then you get it. Like you get the bug, and that keeps people. And we have OGs coming back, and this is their 23rd year doing this with Spencer, and
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. So the loop itself is it 3 miles?
It's right at 3 miles. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it again, it was there prior to.
Right.
Goes around Queens University, and the neighborhood has embraced it. I mean, it's a proper noun. It's on people's MLS listings now, so it's like a place. Everybody knows where. And if anything,
pretty
24
cool.
Hours of Booty has brought more awareness about the Booty Loop, and that people are on there riding, and so hopefully, people, the riders and the cars, play nice together out there.
Yeah.
But for 24 Hours of Booty, it's completely shut down. I mean, it
Yes.
is closed
Yeah, that's
completely to
great.
traffic. There's police everywhere. It's safe.
Thank you,
It's-
CMPD.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's,
thank you,
It's
CMPD.
really fun to be out there and ride when you can,
Yeah, you're
have
not going
at
to
it.
get hit by a car.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. So it's unique in that way.
Is there anything that you can share? You said there's a few surprises for the 24 year. Is there anything you can share yet or not? I don't want to put you on the spot, but just in case.
Yeah. Friday night is, as everyone's been saying, is a special time. The start is incredible. I can't wait for you to see that. And then,
Yes.
I mean, you can't see the end of it, and there's survivors everywhere. It's really special.
bring some tissues.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
It's very
Yeah,
powerful.
but we'll be doing some special ceremonies on Friday night, sort of recognizing and going over the last 24 and just sort of
Wow.
having a moment together.
That's
I
awesome.
think that'll be pretty special, and some other things that are sort of planned throughout. And there'll be a lot of people there. Like it's like a reunion in a lot of ways. Like Josh said, there's people that live out of town that come from out of state
Yeah.
up here that you don't see except for at Booty. And so I always look forward to seeing getting the family back together. Basically,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Shoot, there's people that live in the same city I do, and I see them once a year. Just your lives don't intersect. But
Yeah, right.
You have this.
But
one,
you have this connection.
one weekend that you spend with these people, and it really it's incredible.
That's awesome. Catherine, let me ask you, for anyone that's watching or listening to this, what are some needs that you have right now? Like, do you have some immediate needs for the event that people can still help out with?
Absolutely. I mean, I think first and foremost, just come out. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to participate, whether you want to sponsor, whether you want to volunteer, really just showing up for the cancer community is so important. And it really does mean the world to people who are going around on the bike and they get high fives and they get cheers and people are ringing cowbells for them, because that sense of community and just excitement is just so helpful. Volunteering, we always need volunteers. It takes a village to make this happen, and we could not do it without our volunteers. And if any businesses want to get involved, we're always looking for new partnerships and ways to help promote them and kind of be their destination of social good. And really
Well, I'll tell you,
just
since we're
support
in the
everybody.
Brand Builders podcast studio,
Yes.
we have to give a plug to Scott Dunstan and all of the amazing work the Dunstan Group does for the weekends.
We love the Dunstan Group.
Yeah, talk about OGs. I mean,
Right?
they practically can read my mind now with like, what's.
I know, Scott, can you hear us over there?
Yeah.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, they've been great partners and supporters and there for everything we do, and it's been a long-standing relationship with them. It's awesome.
I mean, Scott is probably one of my best friends, if not my best friend, that I
Right.
talk to almost every day, and we're best friends because we met because of 24 Hours of Booty.
Now, I did not realize, I knew you were besties, but I didn't realize
our
that's how you
lives
met.
had intersected or sort of wound around each other over the years with mutual friends and circles, and we had never met. And then he jumped in with our other friend Sean to help us pull off this party to raise a bunch of money. One year it was called Pink to Drink, and that's how I met Scott, and we've been that close ever since.
I love that. We all love Scott.
Yeah.
This is such a privilege to be able to sit down with you guys today, and I'm really excited to be a part of this and see all the magic. So thank you.
Well, we're excited
Absolutely.
to have you out there.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Jen.
and for everyone that's watching, donate or become part of a team and see everyone out at 24 Hours of Booty. Thanks.